let's go ahead and dive right in with Project 8. I'll be starting on step 2. It's asking us to set macro security and display the developer tab. So we need to go to the File tab and then go down to Options. And then we want to go to Trust Center. So that's part A. Part B, click the Trust Center settings, then click on Macro Settings. And just we want to make sure that whether or not the disable VBA macros with notification is selected. Okay, and then it kind of explains why we want to check for that. Okay, and now we want to go to Customize Ribbon to display Developer tab in our ribbon, and then hit OK. All right, so for step 3, it wants us to save the workbook as a macro enable template. So go to File, Save As, and right now it's on the workbook. We want to go ahead and select Excel macro enable template. Okay, and then go ahead and click Save. Step 4 is asking us to record a macro with relative references to date stamp the sheet. So part A is asking us to then click the Use Relative Reference button, which is in the Developer tab. The Code group, Use Relative Reference. So it's just a highlight button. So when it's grayed out like that with a rectangular outline, that means it's enabled. Now we want to select cell H1. Part C is asking us to restart recording a macro. So let's go ahead and click that. And we want to call it date stamp. We're not going to use the shortcut key. And then make sure this workbook is selected. Yep. In the description box, I'm just going to copy insert date text and paste it in the description and then click OK. So now it's going to start recording the macro. So we do that by typing in equal to and selecting today for the function. So in H1, type in equal to, and then double click on today, and then hit OK. For part H, press the up arrow and then control copy. So what we're going to do, even though it shows today's date, the actual formula value is a function. We want to replace it with the actual text value of the date. So we're going to do that by hitting Control C. And then we're going to paste it again back into its own cell. And then you know I did that because there's a paste option button, and then click the paste option button. And then we want to select paste values, okay? And then you notice that the formula bar shows the date now and not just the equal today function. Press escape to remove the moving border. For part L, it's asking us to click the stop recording button. So, so the screen tip for the button is a macros. Okay, well, anyways, it's explaining a little too much. Now he wants to click the use relative reference button, which is, we want to disable the command. So right now, click it. All right, and you know it's disabled when it's no longer have a black rectangular border around it, and it's not highlighted in light gray. For step 5, it's asking us to test the macro. So let's go ahead and delete cell H1, select cell H2, click on the macros button, and then select the date stamp and run it. Yep, it's working. So we just verified that we we correctly set up the macro for the date stamp. For step 6, he wants us to record another macro, this time with an absolute reference, with absolute references to display unique contractor names. Now it wants us to confirm that the use relative reference button is not active. So, yep, it's not active. Click the record macro button, and we're gonna type in short unique for the macro name. Once again, we're not gonna use the shortcut. And make sure this workbook is selected for store macro in. In the description box, you can either type or copy it. So I'm going to paste that into the description and then hit OK. So now it's starting to record the macro. So we want to select cell I5, which is this one, I believe. Yep. And then we want to, for part H, click up the lookup and reference button, which is in the formula tab, the search book. And then we want to select short. And then we're going to put another function within the short function. So to do that, we click on the name box and then select unique from the drop-down arrow. And now we're in the unique function argument settings. And then we want to select cells B5 to B32. So this one I'm going to select and not type it in. So B5 to B32. It's because they have names for that column. Okay. So you notice that the structure of reference name is table 1 contractor. Now we want to click on the short word short function in the formula bar, which is, let me go ahead and zoom in. It's up here. So if I click on short, you notice that the function arguments now is on a short function. Okay. I think we're not going to add any other values in the short function. So we just hit OK, and then we can stop our macro recording for this one. So go to developer, stop recording. So step 7 is asking us to test a macro. Select cell I5 and delete it. And then it wants, for step B, wants us to select a different cell. So this is specifically asking us to click on cell A3. Go to the macros button, select short unique and run it. And then you notice it repaste the value that we deleted. So that verifies that we selected the macro right. So this is important. You have to make sure, if you go back for step 6, you want to, the first step in the recording is part G, is select cell I5. This is the first code in your macro, is to select cell I5. So when you're verifying it in step 7 and it's generating errors, it's most likely because you did not select I5 when you're in the recording macro is active. Okay, so you're just going to have to go to macros, delete it, and then reprogram that macro so that the first step of the second macro is to go to I5 and then paste the value of the short unique function. Okay, so that concludes the intro to project 7. The rest is pretty straightforward. Just once again, you have to pay really close attention to each step. Just double check each part before you click OK.